Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Cyber LA Breaking Blood. Hi, I'm Darcy, and I am here with trestwho.
He sure is.
And we are going to continue Hunters of Justice. I have to focus on actually saying Hunters because even in saying clear that I'm gonna go live soon, I said hunt heroes for some reason. It's in my mind.
It's not entirely inaccurate.
I mean, they're gonna do some hero stuff right now. We left off
Mm-hmm.
by them jumping into the car, and they're gonna go different spaces.
What I kind of recall was that last scene should have had a chapter break, except I guess it would have been much shorter, more shorter than the author was comfortable with. But there was seemed to be like a time skip in the middle of two scenes, and it wasn't even clear how far of a time skip it was, if it's true.
Maybe there wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
it really
yeah,
did seem like it was when Robin was talking to Yuna uh, in the gym. Uh,
yeah,
they
yeah.
really didn't seem like they were rushed and urgent because of all these adventures that's going around the city. Um, I wouldn't say they were completely relaxed either, because she was stressed about something else that Robin was helping her with. But as soon as they got to that control room, where the communication uh, console was, where there was a very large version of Batman talking to them, it was then in the middle of that scene too. We established that. Oh yeah, by the way, all this, all these problems were occurring around the city, and according to them, it's been occurring for a while.
The Batman was hanging from the TV. Remember, I missed the whole thing, and I told that Batman was in the scene.
Yeah, that was Batman's silent way of saying, "I'll let you handle this."
Batman in the scene.
Okay.
Just hanging from the ceiling. And am I wrong in seeing Batman doing that?
Oh, you can do that, right?
But yeah, I guess it's really actually fitting as well because there is some urgency thing. So let's just continue where we left off.
The other thing I recall about the last scene that actually raised some questions for me was first they're taking off in the T car,
Yeah?
but they're about to separate in different locations across the city. One vehicle is not going to be sufficient.
I mean, they are fast.
Yeah, and some of them can fly, too. And that could possibly work for them. After
Yeah,
the
but
split.
you are right in the notion that they should have gotten more vehicles. But we are talking about Cyborg who is not ready to let them handle the amazing vehicles that he created. You can have weapons, yeah, but drive my car, no.
The Remnantians, all of them can't fly, right? And as far as I know, about half of the Teen Titans can.
I mean, we have established that Yang has not known how to fly a plane yet. But she is learning. She started learning the last time.
About one or two of the Titans are still not there yet. Like Donna was one of them. She's still in Themyscira.
Yeah, she was about to come.
She would. I think she would have been one of the flyers though, if she had been there.
Yeah? But yeah, let's see.
Besides, didn't she also have a jet too?
Yes, they had. But that is
Oh,
why I said that getting not having to fly.
Let's see what happens. Go ahead.
The apartment building was engulfed in a raging inferno. Flames and smoke filled out and broken windows and burnt out doors, and firefighters ushered people out of the building and into safety, while they themselves continued to bombard the building with high-powered water jets. Did you get everyone? Captain Kelly. Yeah, yes, to his fellow firefighters. Wait. What is the name of your doctor again?
Dr. Kelly Sadler. I'm
Yeah.
guessing you were wondering why at first that name felt familiar, and then you kind of figured it out.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, we have another customer again.
You do.
His question was punctuated by a large explosion, ripping through a building, forcing everyone to cover their faces instinctively, while others were screaming in fright. The jet of water focused on the flames, desperately trying to douse them, and a trio of firefighters stumbled out of the entryway. Black suits covered their bodies, and when they stumbled to the ground, they were immediately assisted to their feet by their fellows. It's funny when someone has black suits covering their bodies, I immediately think of Sims.
The Sims?
Yeah, The Sims.
I'm not sure why, but maybe you could bring up a picture to demonstrate why.
If I can find it.
My first thought to that was, oh man, what was that city? Pompeii, the city of Pompeii.
I will not find any.
Darn.
There you go, some. This is what comes to mind when the mother is covered is suit.
All three pictures are from Sims?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know which one is that. Which version? Yours? Edward? Smith? Dr. Sims? Talk to me! The Team S, and they carried them to a fire truck. Yours him of his mask, having his rat-stained face was covered in grime. But Edward...
As ordered, what if they start talking about trivial matters like, I was born on a Tuesday? Something relevant, please?
Something relevant. But Edward admits in the same. Now we are having other image in my mind, covered in crime. Now this one might be more similar to you. Do you know what's coming to mind?
About Edwards and Smith?
A Slimer from the Ghostbusters.
Sure, I recognize that character, but what in that paragraph reminds you of him?
They were covered in crime.
Alright.
And Slimer was a lot of times doing that to the Ghostbusters.
I got a question for you.
Yes?
If Slimer is supposed to be a ghost, what do you think he was in life?
Good question. A slime.
It's like garbage that died? I mean, I'm more tempted to think he's like an elemental. He was never human or anything like that.
I have one character that comes to mind from actual Kirkan at my Friday. I don't know if you have played that game.
Yeah, I had played it on the N64.
Now you know which
In
character comes
fact,
to
I
mind.
even beat that game. It was difficult, but I managed to pull it off. Pretty funny.
They kind of resemble
I
each other.
I do remember his song, not word for word, but the fact it was there and you had to fight him with toilet paper.
It might have been Simon before.
There you go.
We Joe got violently for a few seconds before forcing himself to continue. We had to get out. The fire too hot for us to sleep. Are there actually fire elemental people in DC? I know there are some in Marvel, but
Wait, you said fire elemental people?
yeah, who they're like ice elementals and other stuff.
Okay. I need to ask some clarification. Are you asking for people who are fire or
Yeah,
people who can create or eject fire?
people who are fire.
There might be, but nothing immediately comes to my mind.
Or force fire, like this should be from DC.
I, in both cases, it looks like they were not born as fire, but like
Yeah, but
people who got augmented with fire powers.
yeah, the ones who should be not hurt by fire.
I know two characters from One Piece who basically became like a fire elemental because projectiles can pass right through them because there can be, if they want to be, insubstantial flame. Plus, they create it.
I mean, the
That's
best
called.
best character some of fire should be here, but he's not in DC. If you know who he is, you know. If not, that's fine.
Hard to say. I could argue him as a fire elemental.
No,
He's much
no,
more.
but
He's
he is
more.
not hurt by fire.
It's well, better than that. He can eat it. It doesn't
Yep.
heal him, but it does recharge his magic. Very strange that he cannot eat his own fire, but that's the rules, and they established that nearly since I think the first episode of that show.
I mean, yeah.
As far as a mage goes, though, he is a strong melee combatant. He kind of reminds me of a monk, actually.
A very violent monk.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
He's
back
got
to this.
temper. He's hot-headed.
They are not, at least not in this thing, there is no fire elemental. From what I saw.
With that line below the ones you read, was there anyone inside? I suspect that was Kelly talking there, but that doesn't specify.
It might be. Was there anybody inside? I mean, yes, we were inside, that's why we have to get out. We don't. We don't think so. It was accounting. And Kelly decided to leave. And he left the way, but he began to do a head count of his man. And his worry, and to his worry, and he was very short. Where's Billy? I'm pretty sure it's not this Billy. Oh my god, there are so many Billys. But the one I'm told about was Billy the Kid.
Very unlikely. There's been a pretty strong pattern so far of really generic sounding names.
Yeah, there is a lot of Billy the Kids, by the way. And all of them are kids. In the name. And I'm gonna be fun. I'm gonna laugh if this is Billy the Kid as well. He smoke. His eyes began to widen and everyone else began to look towards the burning building. He was right behind me. Before anyone could speak, they heard a shrill familiar scream come out of the building. Ah, that's my Billy. One later, another explosion, one larger than the previous, rocked the building, and sent the building charge of debris flying towards the scene. Men and women dived out of the way, as families so started to park cars and nearby buildings, demolishing money. Damn! Charlie cursed as he began to break away from the burning building, lighting his fire attacks to move towards the earth, while keeping up their doubting attempt. He then ran to grab a mask, and slammed it tight into his face before turning to run inside the building. Cam! What are you doing? Firefighter asked him alarm. You can go in there, the fire is too big. You will more than that. Because Billy and Timmy attempted inside, Harry pointed out as he tried to run in, only for a pair of firefighters to hold him back. Let me go! Sir, please, he begged, as Harry struggled. We can't. And the begging was halted by the sight of 4 individuals leaping across the scene from the building behind them. The firefighters and other guys only saw them for a moment, but then what they saw that they were led by 2 heavily armored individuals holding shields that they used to protect themselves and the 2 behind them from the flames. 2 heavily armored individuals, so this is team, I forgot, Juniper, yeah, Juniper.
That's what I suspected too.
Yeah, I was thinking what was the team name. The people below watched them as they disappeared, and Kennedy immediately began barking orders to assist the Titans in their rescue attempt. Everyone of him that fight for the chiefs and others doing this job was extremely close, and I know he could only pray that they were successful. And the only reason I know this one is because of Mumbo Jumbo, and not Mumbo Jumbo from this thing.
We're not going to get an explanation how they got here, did we? It probably is at least partially the T-car. But what happened after that? They took the subway?
I assume they jumped to the roof.
Blake was really good at that, as I recall, because she also used her hook shot to help swing around like Spider-Man. Actually, more like Batman.
I mean, all of the hunters and assassins, the first thing they learn is landing strategy. So,
well, sure, that can come in handy.
and for all we know, actually they have cameras, they have maybe wait, yeah. Only John is the only one who cannot jump that far. But they have Nora, who can literally push him over the edge.
Man, I would assume they're pretty well trained in urban and wilderness terrain.
Yeah? In the meantime, let me zombie. Yeah, well. You see anything? So then, as he and the rest of Juniper organized themselves inside the room they had merged into. They had only just stopped mugging when they saw the smoke rising from a nearby apartment complex. And they had gotten here as fast as they could, on foot.
The smoke should be a problem for them, right?
Yeah? Wait, no. They have meth. That was created because of what was the name of that gecko? Remember?
And besides that, they recently got some augmentations to their suits to cyborg, but I didn't remember if that specific feature was part of it.
I'm pretty sure that was I mentioned that they had mesh that could filter the smoke.
Well, that's one major problem they had in that terrain. The other would be the heat.
Yeah. And also
Fun,
heat resistant, remember? Cyborg
other things that
was working on
could
it.
be is collapsing floors or ceiling or explosions.
Yeah. So everything is really could have.
But just turn on the AC, you'll be fine.
I don't think it will work.
Probably not.
From the inside of his helmet, the obscure system is present out the heavy smoke, and master is good. Wait. The obscure systems? Something is not right. The obscure system should not be able to filter out the formation.
Yeah, and that didn't even occur to me that there would be visual obstructions too. But alright, sounds like they're prepared for that as well.
Although it was still difficult to make out anything of note. Obscure systems are completely gone, so we cannot turn on the AC.
Mm-hmm.
And the structure intensity is only 25%. Noted. His most muffled magic in a meter he was currently wearing. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The intense heat of the flames was making him sweat profusely. Although his aura was preventing anything worse from happening. We don't have much time. David, what about gaslight? Oh yeah, you have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's probably where the explosions were occurring. Why they were occurring.
Yeah? Charlotte looked down as she followed the remaining gaslight to the basement. Her scar deepened the more she looked, and when she reached the main, she looked back up at her leader. Not good, the flame is almost reached the gas main. Near that, this entire building is going to explode. I mean, they don't have to reach the gas main or down. They reach anywhere in the building. Any pipe in the building, the whole building is exploding.
Mm-hmm. And the reason that system was there in the first place is they needed something to heat the water.
Yeah? I want to take a second, thinking over before coming to a decision. Alright? Here's what we are going to do. Lighting, use your field gate. Put out the fire. Access your hardpoint as you and Gundam make your way to gas main. We have to keep this building up as long as we can. Those who die, we find any survivors and get them out. Got it? Aye aye! Understood. I definitely can say that this is Ran, this is Nora, and this is Piro. Just from how they are.
It was probably in the order he was talking to them.
Yeah. It was
First
the
one
order
he was
as well.
talking to was Lightning, and after that it was Guardian, and then Lotus and I.
Then it's not the same order.
If I'm right, the Lotus would be the last one, understood.
I don't think Piro would say aye.
Alright.
Aye is mostly 100% sure that it is Nora.
Then it wouldn't be nice if they added those names there so we didn't have to
I mean,
the guessing.
It doesn't really matter because they both understood. None of them said no.
They basically said the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. It seems they made all loaded. Nora loading preceded the my card, actually a few into fire. We exploded into clouds of carrying gas, coughing the fire out, and leaving a thick layer of ice in its wake.
Actually, would that present its own danger?
Yes, but It is the fastest way to get rid of the fire.
I know. The main thing is they're trying to get rid of the fire and prevent the escalation of the structural damage. The cryonic gas, if anything, might reinforce it. Just the ice solidify on the walls and help to hold it together. The danger could have been if you walk into that gas after that, then now you're suffering freezing damage instead of fire.
Or if it gets heated up, you might be able to get burned from it. I mean, you can get it either way because there is the causing burn as well.
That might eventually happen, but for the moment, they're just trying to buy themselves time.
I'm probably sure. I'm sure that they shoot at areas that you want to go to.
Like a hallway. That would have been a problem. Or shoot it at the stairs. Or a door you need to pass through.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he said above was shoot it at critical weak points. That if this thing goes, the building's definitely going down.
It is.
That's likely to be like the pillars and areas along the walls.
And also the ice is actually the scale of ice is reinforcing the weekend spots. It's been still to be repaired later on, but for now at least not the whole building is going down. During approval, your king opened the door to the hallway, and without needing to prompt his teammates, ushered out to find any remaining survivors. Which should be none, but then there was two, at least. A few presidents of their own in hand. Jones and Helen went room to room, lobbing grenades wherever needed. They quickly re-entered into them, forcing open doors, announcing the penalty by scanning the room with their optics before moving on to the next. They made sure to say there's the one other at all times, and the last thing they needed was to get lost in the flames. Hello? Joe shouted into one of the last arcade rooms on the floor. And with the others, they found no one. He got it angrily before turning back into the hallway. He saw around do the same, as he shook his head regretfully. I will have problems with that one. And then pointed upward, the fire making it hard to hear his voice. And not only the fire, but probably the crackling beams and the walls. The two they had as fast as they could, up the stairs, and then they did, Joel's internal combs came to life.
Speaking for terms of structural integrity and flames, I remember some of the most critical weak points is like the base pillars and the walls at the first floor. If that goes down, the entire building goes down. Because you remove the base of the house of cards, right?
Yeah, but I assume it is made by metal and concrete.
I actually remember that lecture from an episode of G.I. Joe where Cobra commanders or some kind of leaders were trying to teach how to do the most damage using fire and efficiently. And it's probably tactics the real military would know about.
I mean, that's how real development do that when they are doing the controlled explosions and take down the whole 10-story building without damaging anything around.
So I assume they would know that too. It's very important to protect the first floor from burning apart.
Yeah. Right then, well, noticed pink lightning, and I made it to the gas main. The voice came in. Behind her voice, the two young men could hear ice explosions of grenades, telling them that the door was hard to lock. What did you find? God asked, kicking them by the door. Wait, why is Helen asking that if Vela noticed? Red Lotus is there. He is Red Lotus. What do they mean? Why the Red Lotus? Right? Pinlighting and light made into the gas main.
Well, that paragraph above is what Pyrrha said, and then paragraph below is what Ren said.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That if he is there, then he didn't make it to the gas main. So she is saying to White Knight and Red Lotus that Pinlighting and I made it to the gas main. But it is not clear in this sentence where this sentence making.
Well, for the moment, I haven't completely memorized their superhero names to associate with which ones, except for White Knight. I remember that was definitely...
Yeah, Red is Lotus.
Okay.
We are working on keeping the gas and fire contained, but we won't be able to do so for long. Important. Also, I have seen signs of suffering with the early swarm, so it wasn't random. Ashton? Yours listen. It's not looking like it. You find anyone yet? Not yet. Lotus and I. Yeah, this is.
Tell you, the arson needs to be rescued too, right? Probably?
Not sure. If they just get the wall open and leave one stove on the heat or fire,
If for some reason you're immune to fire, would you also be immune to explosions or collapsing buildings?
I mean, it is pretty easy to start a fire and leave. I don't think
They could, but that's not exactly what they're saying. They're suspecting there's tamperings occurring during the mission. So I'm guessing they're finding recent evidence of tampering with the gas main.
we will see.
Okay.
Not yet. Lotus and I are working to the fourth floor now. Listen, keep the building from blowing as long as you can. But I want you and everyone else out right before them. You are the bossman, Lord Grim, and Joan couldn't help but can smile. Joan and focused at taking open the yard door. Once again, he would see no one inside. He was cursed that he not been forced to jump back to avoid falling debris. Damn! Because afterwards, for good measure. Yeah, because I missed cursing to a curse again. And he initiated his face. But later, he ran back towards him, developing a small fire out from his tools. This place is falling apart, he shouted, and she was gone by looking at him. Yeah, I noticed. Did you find anyone? Nothing. Why nothing? Why don't you answer no one if the question is anyone? I thought we know there is at least 2 people here. And they shouldn't be that far if they heard them from outside. I'm surprised they didn't find them yet.
Unless it was a recording, I guess. But Billy really was missing. They did a head count outside and confirmed that at least.
Unless Billy was invisible.
Or unconscious or dead. That'd be another reason why they're not hearing the person, but maybe visually they could still spot them.
Yeah. You jump back as another piece of them rain down. Then nothing across his metal armor. Literally, he was immensely grateful that his new armor was his resistance. But even then, he was not his resistance. He was only the fear that he'd wash over his skin, yeah. And he was beginning to sweat profusely. Although he wanted to turn tail and run, avoiding the possibility of them getting consumed by the blaze altogether. But another part, one much louder and more convincing, was screaming at him to press forward. They knew for a fact that at least one firefighter was left inside, and the possibility of others was too great to ignore.
I guess they overheard the firefighters speak outside.
Yeah? Goddamn, lighting, and also into Steve's scopes, as he had done, up to the side and the fourth and final floor. The space is about to crumble. As soon as things get out.
You know what just occurred to me that would
Yes?
be helpful in the situation and actually should be true in real life, but I don't know if it is. Send every firefighter inside of a burning building with some kind of transponder signal, something that projects their location very loudly. They do not have to worry about Wi-Fi interference in a situation this desperate.
I mean, they
So
do have
even if they
walkie-talkie.
go, yeah, even if they go unconscious, they're still wearing something that's signifying their location. That would be a smart idea.
I
And it wouldn't
think
even
that
have
is
to.
actually a thing.
It better be. And something that needs to like project radio waves or something like that, not satellite. We know that's blocked by a building. But if you could project something inside the building loud enough, electrically speaking, that would be smart to have equipped for the firefighters to help detect each other. At least each other. And if they have it, you would think maybe the superheroes would be aware of that and start looking for that signal.
Yeah, but I think in real life, firefighters don't really go in unless it's really necessary. At least not in raging fire. Also, I have a phone call, so be right back.
Okay.
Hey, I'm almost back,
Okay.
and now I'm here. Hi.
Welcome back.
Where were we? In the fire.
Where we were is probably where you highlighted.
Yeah? You wasn't. Your respondent. Behind her voice was the sound of melting pipes and the smell of melting ice. The more showed and had guessed that they didn't have much time left. The silent nodded towards each other, the two began to search each and every room. The fire was burning hot, and black smoke filled the hallways and made it almost impossible to see. The roar of napalm made it impossible to hear as well. With each open door, and so room, the fire spread further and further. Yogi knocked at another door, only to shield himself with his arms, as an eruption of flame spewed forth, consuming his body. He stumbled out, cutting himself out as much as he could, before looking back into the room. The deep crowd.
Backdraft. That's what it was called. I was trying to recall the name of a real life phenomenon. Why fire would burst out towards you as soon as the door opens. And it had something to do with there's more temperature difference or richer oxygen on one side,
Most at the same
where
time.
the fire was kind of starved on the other side of the door until you open the door. And then all of a sudden it was rich oxygen on the other side, so it rushes right at you.
I
Yeah, it
mean,
was
it
called
is
that.
actually really close to why common I think screw out when you open the cap.
Both from the movie and a ride that was based on the movie taught there was one sign to look for that such a thing is about to occur, and that's a smoke under the door seam spew out, but then suddenly gets sucked back.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But John has a shield, so he actually has some way to deflect that attack. Also, his aura. And
Luckily,
heat resistant suit, which sounds pretty much like what the firefighters are wearing, but likely more endurant in terms of other types attacks
and
too.
more advanced, yeah.
Yep.
And he prioritized the Earth's face. And when he turned around to look at the other rooms, you couldn't tell about the other side of them being in a similar state. Black smoke drifted out from underneath the north, and the smoke was charred, black and caked. Several of them had already holes in the flames, from which fire came out. I mean, that part is actually easier, because if there are holes where the fire can come out, it is not gonna burst. It's when it's fully closed. Usually that's when it's gonna burst out. But another explosion hit out through the building, knocking him off his feet, but quickly got himself up and inside. What are you doing, Nero? What do you here? Is there something here?
What does it say on your shirt? The only word I can distinguish is Ohio.
The same. Some kind of theme.
Okay.
Guys, we have to. He began, trying to ignore the again spilling his being, only for him to get to be interrupted by a frantic gun. I got someone! I shouted over the comb. Those orders were immediately forgotten, and as he used his helmet so far, by hand identification. Good, they have their own GPS.
Which is what I thought the firefighters should have, something like that.
Yeah? They sped towards him. Joe mounted around the corner, but he saw her lifting a burning piece of timber off his pinned fire partner. Probably Millie. The man's mask was cracked, and his meaning was cracked, but he was alive. Yes, but he had a severe CO poisoning probably. Already. Quick! Pull him out! Joe said as he lifted up another charred piece of wood. His hands started from the heat, but he threw it to the side, just as he had pinned the man. Joe took one look at his leg and made before pulling out a syringe of painkillers and then mixing it to the injured man. Bad idea, Han. You didn't ask the man if he's allergic to any kind of painkillers. You could scare him with that. I have a friend who cannot take like aspirin because there's something in it which he's allergic to.
One risk to that is, what if he's in too much pain to answer that question if you don't give him the painkillers? Kind of a catch-22 there.
Yeah. But if he's unconscious, then he don't need the painkiller. So, is there anyone in the building? Well, that means he's cautious. And then the
If
X,
the
right?
syringe helped to wake him up, like adrenaline would, then yeah, then this would make sense. But they said painkillers, not adrenaline.
Yeah. And then the X, right? Lifting the metal pedestal. We need to verify the belief if you don't overheard correctly. So, once again, we were right. They heard the firefighters. Went into another room where the entrance was sealed under the mound of debris. Sean shuddered and just ran toward the nearest window. Gathering back, and he could see the table through the glass before yelling captain to the scene below. Guardian, first floor. Lighting, enjoy those outside. Joe shouted as he began to lean toward the maid. Most of his teammates acknowledged his order, while he continued to his task. He didn't know how long he kept it, but a few moments later, he found Fiona's plans next to him. Without needing to ask for permission, he began to assist her partner, and leaned her in excavating the door. And when enough was cleared, she motioned to herself to force the door open. She was beginning to hear the faint sound of muffled screaming inside, causing her to force herself to push harder. And soon enough, George joined her in prying the door open. But the debris was thrown back against the wall, and they did so, and most of them threw all their last remaining phase grenades to try and stem the fire as much as they could. So, I don't know who it was that answered Kelly, that there is no one inside. They definitely did a bad job, because there were multiple firefighters in there, and they probably split the job that, you are going to the first floor, you are going there, you are going there. So, whoever was it was probably the one that wasn't really taking their job seriously. So I'm sure there is no one in there. Because, you know why? Because all of the doors were closed, and Joe had to keep them open, remember? So they didn't even open the doors.
Just occurred to me how effective an arson could be if they were a former firefighter.
I think that was actually a thing at one point. Yeah, that was actually a thing. I remember that there was some fun. I'm gonna put him on the screen. Even though he is an awesome, I still believe in yeah. Even though his face is up on the internet, you can search on it if you want.
Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I respect your decision.
But yeah,
we're not talking about a fictional character here, it's probably a good move.
Yeah. So that's actually a thing. But they were caught. Obviously. Hello? You're scared. Actually, I Joe searched room to room. They heard the shouts coming from a close off room, and Joe immediately kicked it open, while they forced themselves inside. Then they saw a small family, a mother holding an infant, while a young daughter begged her father to get out. The man had several hand wounds and was lying face down on the floor, but she had helmet detecting a faint pulse. Come on, there you go. Hi. When the family saw the two heroes, they clearly recoiled, but both Joel and Pierre held up their hands in a placating gesture. What is a placating gesture?
Placating means to appease or to calm.
But how do you gesture that?
It's a gesture meant to de-escalate.
I know, but how would it look like?
Probably just hold your hands up. Likely at chest level.
I'm pretty sure that is nothing. I'm gonna laugh if it is this. But the first thing that came up, and the second thing gesture, is this.
Placator, placation. You know, it's not giving any definition there. It's just saying the words.
No, I'm looking at the picture itself.
Well, the example here would be the guy on his knees begging.
It's probably just like something. Yeah, I just can't imagine how they would do that. But... Hey, it's okay. It's probably this just slowly falling on the hand. Showing that we don't have
I
any.
think they're just lifting their hands probably at chest level, palms facing towards the viewer.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Probably. Well, it looked like you angled your hand a little more forward, towards the camera. There you go, that way.
Hey, it's okay. Because I sit down to take care of the family. All of them had murder on their mothers, but they were not even minor compared to what they could have been. You wanted to ask them some questions, or getting them out to consider it. He walked over to the nearest window and forced it open. Looking down, he saw at the side of the little repairs him, and then turned back towards the family. You would think that actually he can use his shield and glider later on. I don't know if he can here. But later in the series he can.
Okay. Then probably not yet.
I mean, he has his upgrades already here.
And even if he could, how much weight can he support with that?
Also, the firefighters are still down there, so they could get the... What is it called in English? I don't know. The fabric that they can jump on.
Destroyed fire escape does sound like more evidence of sabotage.
Yeah. We're going to get you out of here, okay? He told them. Holding out his arms and making a gesture. Mother looked at him for a moment, then turned back to look at the fire. Yeah, and we can show that they are underworld who started the fire. Because then the whole room would be on fire. It's not in, somewhere down below. Yeah,
Someone's still at large, and someone I suspect they're about to encounter before this little adventure goes down.
Probably. In the line before she can getting to her feet and walking over to him. She was attached a line to her action links to the ceiling and the ceiling below. He saw her run over to meet her at the opposite end. They sent her and her tiny church in front below. She was carrying the unconscious father over her shoulders, looked at Joan for a moment. Even behind her helmet, he knew the look on her face. It was not good. Yeah, the man might not survive. Headwoods are very creative and dangerous.
You don't speak from experience on that, right? By that I mean direct experience, but maybe you witnessed something like that?
Actually, yes, direct experience. We have this automatic big, whatever it's called, like a corridor in, my workplace, which just go up and down real fast. One of them hit me in the head. One that was, years ago, so. And that was, a minor injury because I jumped away, but still hit me. If I stayed there, then I would have not gotten out of it. But yeah, those are not funny. Especially if you get hit in the head, you must have even noticed it at first. Oh, it hurts! And then you grab to your hand and see blood. And just a little bump is just the smallest part of it. Because brain damage can be easily gotten, even if he survives. Hopper, the younger cat, as she reached out for him. Joe had back at a spear, prepared to limp down to the sea. On the top, and an ominous groan came from above. And one looked up the water, suddenly came stealing. Another several boards forming the center. John, use the ice skating now on the top. He might not even have more.
Equipped with it, right? Wasn't it Pura that had that?
They all had.
Anyway, I remember earlier in the scene it said she used the last in this room somewhere.
Ah, yeah. Oh shit! You began to, yeah, just the room began to collapse. The girl's skin is pale. As she instinctually knocked and covered her head. Only for Joe to jump in front of her and peer, against the roof with his hand. He yawned and hurled out of the way, his legs shaking under the sash. But he pushed back as hard as he could. Not turning back to his partner, he shouted, "Go!" to at the top of his lungs. He was spotted by grabbing the girl and leaping down to the seat. I had managing to hold on to both unconscious fallen grown man, as well as a terrified 5-year-old girl. Now, the question is, what is the ceiling part made out of? It is just concrete, or does it have iron in it, or steel? Because if it has steel, we don't have to forget that Pierre has semblers that can move magnetic items around.
It's not established in the story yet, and I can excuse the characters for not taking the time to identify that, unless she can sense metal nearby her without looking at it.
Yeah. You had us for a while longer, and once he saw them make out of the ground, he raised his horn while leaping out of the window. The roof collapsed behind him, starting a chain reaction that caused more and more of the building to collapse as he himself fell to the air. Unfortunately, he had to put too much power into his job, causing him to sag against the opposite building, the fire escape. Denting it, and causing him to play sadly as he tumbled down, hitting several more objects before landing in a heap in the alley below. Good thing there's a heap in there. The collapsing building covered him in dust, and he groaned in pain as he finally checked his aura. It was in the yellow, and he let out a large chuckle before missing. "Oh, I'm gonna feel it in the morning," he grumbled before rising to his feet. As he did, he ran into the alleyway and tapped him to the shoulder before walking into the seat. Police were loading the injured father into the ambulance alongside an unconscious Millie. The rest of his family watching Joel and Pierre with grateful eyes. Before closing the ambulance door to the level, they saw lots of firefighters working to contain the last remnants of the flames. and we decided not the two of them slipped away before anyone could get to them. They joined hands and Nora several rooftops over, and once together, they entered the side they didn't know they were holding. So I was right, they are using the rooftops as moving around as well.
So far, the arsonist got away with this and wasn't even encountered.
I mean, a good arson is actually doing that. Just start the fire or get away.
Yeah.
Okay, that was intense. We start sitting on the line. It's a nothing radio while watching the smoke rise to the air. Sarah? Joe began. How should I you and Nora that it was awesome? Joan, didn't you see the destroy fire exit? The fire escape? 100%, he replied, looking down at Shinny. So what I'm saying to your slide is that you made that and not only burn the whole building down, but also ensure it will just immediately explode. So they could get away. Now I'm also 1% sure that this is not just a random asshole. This is the Blood Brotherhood, and they are doing this to lure Raven out.
Yeah, I was thinking that before I even knew about this specific challenge. That the reason for the stress in the city lately is probably because of them.
I mean, we remember even Mother of Blood actually telling them to do some chaos.
Oh yeah.
Any idea who could have done it? Red asked, but no one could have. No idea. The security cameras were shut on, but we got inside. Almost every someone meeting to be a hammer. Ah, so it was you, Nora. It seems that we can manage to salvage anything, and my silence who did it. You stated before running to his feet. That might be what they want. To let them know that we are the ones who did it. The rest of the team did the same, and John took a step before facing once again. His team moved to help him, but he raised his hand and stopped them. As he did, more silence out the north in the distance, and to the other side. More work to do! Yay! They complained, and the others couldn't tell but they came. And they ran up toward the sound, they reached home, then at the very least the others weren't having as hard of time, and they were. No, they are worse. This should be like 1 or 2. That's yeah. We can finish this today.
Okay. So let's find out what happened to
I see some
Ruby.
line behind me. And I can't tell you do anything about that. Maybe I can.
It's like a haze of light.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be even bigger if I do this.
So far, it looks like you're wrong. It's like that was reflected light coming from the window. Now that you shut it, it did get rid of the haze.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
That's why I got it. Doesn't need that much. Yeah. We remained silent as she laid prone across some separating from a run-down tenement building. gets enrolled in the sniper rifle configuration. Andy, she had the almost contact of the surprise of her best son, showing that she had 5 rubber bullets that could be loaded into her magazine. This will be more than sufficient for what she and her team will dealing right now. I mean, yes, it's rubber bullets, but you are using it from a heavy high caliber sniper rifle. If you are using on a normal human, they might die from internal bleeding. Even if you don't shoot them fully. The relationship and many sound like you cannot noticing this so much. On the side of an Irish man, holding his girlfriend and the man killed and cheating on him with a gunpoint, turn into something more serious. The police were roughly 5 minutes out, based on what the road was telling her, and thus far, it had shown to me inaccurate. She knows that the hostage would not last long without someone intervening, which is where her team came in. He and White had come up with the plan almost immediately. They were thinking from an opening on the roof, while White, being the most memory of the group, was trying to talk to him now. Everyone with her to send immediate support should the need arise, while Ruby kept her scope trained on the man at all times. Sir, you have every right to be upset, White attended to the man. A voice carried over the comms, but his not around the door. You let me right, I do. He was my best friend. He said something towards the hostage angrily. As he did, his large muscular attitude body fell behind the wall. But Ruby's scope enabled her to take his thermal signature with ease. Yeah, that's why I say that you have a high caliber sniper rifle. Even with the rubber bullet, you can shoot 2 of each one. Above him, keeping to the adult, was Lei, as she sat made her way above the hostage. Behind the wall was Yang, ready to burst through the moment things turned out. The man was pointing his pistol.
And when she does, she'll shout, "Oh yeah!"
Oh yeah! And the image of a woman was shown in the corner, and another man was coming in. Baby, I'm sorry, please! He begged. Shut up! Shut up! He said, how could you? With him? Yang, get ready. Ruby cried on as she chambered around and laid down the safety. Yang flashed a thumbs up in response, knowing that Ruby was seen through the wall. Weiss, meanwhile, continued to try and calm the man down. Sir, I think that will not solve anything. It will only make things worse for everyone, including you. The Irish man spun around towards the door, walking forward and stopping right outside of me. Oh really? Do you even know what they did? They played Uno without me! No, I do not, but I can assure that whatever it is that they did, what they done will not make you feel better. I fucking know that. My cousin is around, his back facing his hostage. We watched as Blake started to remove the gate from the ceiling, and we tried to poke her hand too. Nothing saw her, but Blake started them with a raised finger before she let herself down. The police hardly made a sound as she landed on her toes. She listened to the still ranting man, as he talked about how he lived in the woman for years, only to not just have her cheat on him with his best friend, but to really post pictures they had taken of themselves doing the act on the social media. You know what? I am gonna assume that this friend is actually the mother of the woman, and that's why they did, and he's just not listening. Then they not cheating, they were just having a birthday party or something.
So far, this plot reminds me of The Room a little bit.
Also, the man is literally saying that he needed the woman for years. You never asked her hand. You are just dating. She's not even your fiance. Will be calling a cheating if they don't live together, and it might have been called cheating, but
Legally, I'd say no. Emotionally,
emotionally yes.
it's
But
commonly yes.
this is 100% the man's fault. They didn't care to assume whether nothing happened, or why it may have happened. Right now, she and the rest of her team were focused on getting them out of safety, and that was all that mattered. Advice tried to keep the man calm, gently urging him to put the gun down and come out to her. They took a shot of the situation. From what she could see, neither of them were particularly hurt yet. The man's relief, considering the circumstances. But she was more than aware that the situation could actually turn south at any moment. You know why? She was purposely putting herself in front of them as she walked, fearing that her aura could take a shot. They really guessed by the man, noticing that his figure appeared to be slightly calmer than before. At the very least, he was shouting that. She recognized by the terrifying cutscene, and then the window, where she saw the railing of a fire escape. She was shaking her head. Trying to see them out while hoping he didn't turn around was too risky. So she gently lowered her palm, and the two of them came low and quiet, in a blind, and basically pulled out the rubber sound, and began to heave toward the horse's kicker, letting the disarm and subdue him. And that is when the inner voice, the third eye is opening up. You had this feeling before, right? When you felt someone's eye on you. It can happen.
Probably did. I suspect that occurred the most when I was a kid.
But you can just feel someone's presence. So please,
I can at least imagine what that's like.
why start the smoke again? Once again. Put the weapon down and come on out. I promise I won't hurt you, and we can get past this. The man spoke. His face clenched around his pistol, then used his moment to carefully step forward, only for her to stamp to make a larger kicking noise, and he stamped on a loose board, obviously. I was in the slow motion and Blake jumped back and even Gamma shouted at the man, which was turning around in a thought. His finger was on the finger, as he ordered Blake and his former hostage with surprise. The measure made it turn into unprecedented rage. I mean, there was a chance that he could have been stopped, but they messed up. They prepared to fire a rubber bullet into him, but she never got a chance. The loud bang echoed through the room, along with the sound of shattering glass. The man seemed in pain, and got his wrist, and the weapon flew across the room.
There was also a call of, "Oh yeah."
No, that was Rory shooting the weapon out.
Okay.
And from what I see, the next sentence is gonna be the "Oh yeah." At the same time, the wall next to them exploded, and the young man through and to watch him. Then he came crashing against the wall, causing him to collapse in the heap. The two horses were both shocked, and they saw a blonde-haired woman rushing through the wall and shouting, "Oh yeah!" It was not a sad incident. That they can only take a few seconds. The sign was only moving my right, pushing the door open and moving inside. "Is everyone okay?" she asked, and two from my horses nodded. "Yes, we are okay." The man said with approval, and the woman saw into her knees in the relief. They were taking the man's money, and telling he was too rich to look down, and she tied him up. The sound of distant silence began to get closer, and she figured the police were only a minute out. And here comes that thing. Then this man would actually sue them for almost breaking his arm. "They assaulted me. I am innocent. I was just having hostages." "What happened?" I didn't figure out what was going on between this flying and hunting. Yet, as I said the first day, the man and woman looked at each other with a cat at their side. "Because I," Baba started beginning to run down her face. "We got dark and made a terrible mistake. So looking for those protection. For the next day, we were horrified and deleted them. Then, to ruin the whole thing, and but then it never happened. So, in this story all over again. How did they get personal line? I don't know. I swear to God, I don't know. And again, I salute them for this former friend in the mixture of anger and regret. We only found out about it yesterday when he called us, shouting at the top of his lungs about us betraying him. They got scared and stayed with me for the night, and continue. And what I doing empathetically, in the help them to get to their feet. I told them down to the front door, and Yang and Blake continued to check everything. They was thinking about sample while Yang was carefully putting the man's weapon into Eminem's bag. Wait, blood sample? From who?
I'm not sure about that one.
Because
Let's read on.
they literally knocked the man out and none of them are injured.
Yeah, wasn't there a rubber bullet fire earlier? Well, that still would cause external bleeding damage.
Yeah? But not in, What are you doing this for? Yang asked her partner as she entered the fire escape. To check his blood alcohol levels, I was mad on his mess, but I have to explain why he has no. If you can smell it on his breath, you can clearly say he is not sober. So, what is that word? Malignant?
Belligerent.
Belligerent? I have never seen that word before.
Rowdy in a hostile way. It's kind of what that basically means.
Oh, yeah. They noticed, and Yang sighed while shaking her head in disappointment. Yang then told of her uncle Crow. She loved the man with all her heart, but he didn't tend to get dog more often than not. More than either, she or me like to admit. Though he wasn't usually obnoxious, just obnoxious. That's no sort that angry. But those that lifted to us most her father and uncle. What they were doing at this moment. And now we know in the later season why he was drunk most of the time. He was trying to push everyone away from himself because of his resemblance. He wanted to seem like the bad uncle who should not be close to the family. Most of them had been entirely aware that it was bottled, but after this, he had no idea what to give of them. Let's take those dogs for therapy, Yang thought, as she shook her hand. She did not throw it away. He handed them to her sister, who was waving at them from the perch. Hey sis! He said over the radio. Nice shot, by the way. Thanks! You want me to pretty sweet too. I bet you didn't yell. Oh yeah! But you
Why would they say that? Are they familiar with that commercial in the time that they spent on Earth? Because I don't think that would be a thing.
I mean, they were researching everything and they watched a lot of TV in the Titan Summer.
Guess that's one of the things they came across. So
Yeah.
I can partially excuse that, but it's just a little unbelievable.
Oh yeah?
I like the joke though. I called it.
We all call it. I didn't expect it from them calling it as well.
I could more easily see that line from the Titans. Especially from any one of them that likes to crack jokes.
So Herman.
There you go. It's always the one you least suspect, huh?
My job! You became mad you just don't know when to win. Mad mod. Sounded like I see a tournament of shipping containers. On the yellow open. That is anything outside. I saw the village. Let's see. What's Mad Mod looks like? Oh yeah, I remember him. This guy.
Oh, some British guy?
Yep, he was a very British guy who I think had the power of illusion. You saw more? And we saw responded and threw a wing ring and the smuggler, who looked and pointed at his cane at them. He pressed a button on his shaft, and the moment later a pair of high-powered guns from out on the back of his head, along with a thick cloud of black smoke. The guns fired through the smoke screen at his pursuers, forcing him to hastily erect. I think there's a issue here. I think it should be just act. Forcing him to hastily erect a shield wall to absorb the bullet. Yeah, that is the camera right now. Only stopping was the fire itself. When he dissipated the shield, the current of the anything like a wall or an open. You know, someone began to regularly say, I'm getting really tired of this cat and mouse game we have been playing. You're telling me, in motion, person turning into a cat and mouse to better illustrate. The only person but more taking advantage of the current crime with to steal the traumatic aspect alone to the New York City Archaeological Museum and then sell them abroad to wealthy collectors. The attempt was thankfully thwarted, and they had been chasing you across the town for the past 30 minutes, but at by this point, the many slang and dry quips were beginning to get on the last nerves. Last week, they decided the location before coming to the decision. So, begin. Climb up and see if you can spot him. Climb up 7 to the location 7 minutes. You guys have got that far. Big boy, Raven. We keep on going ahead. The other Titan nothing has been off into the team. Miss Martian and Starfire flying off high into the air. Just for the direction.
Maybe Beast Boy should turn to a dog and sniff him out.
Maybe. One cyber goes off a nearby electronics tower. Beast Boy, meanwhile, turns himself into Bloodhound.
Yeah.
And begins to sniff the ground as he of them search for any sign of where man was by some gun. I see Tyrantrex. He was pointed out and they put in a few symbols. Then we glance down and there is finger looking in the black box that taps his domino west to scan the unique scan. A moment later, he saw a kissing pad on the connect and he sighed. Somebody new in the Minatini. Mimi, I see if you can understand. Big boy nodded and went back to sniffing. Everyone meanwhile reached out apparently to try and find the missing smuggler. He began to feel in the inky center of the city, the rising fear and anger as what was going on. And pretty soon the money began to tremble from the threat of trying to keeping those feelings out. Be careful, Raven, because you might actually become a vision at one point. Can we notice this? And placed his hand comfortably on the shoulder. Hey, stop! He said, and Raven looked at him for a moment before complying. And was the negative feeling of the city and the way. He was still feeling them in the back of his mind, but they were no longer as pronounced. He waited heavily for a few moments before looking back at the two crystal fans and smiled. I'm okay. It is just a flash wound, he said, and made more in mind for a moment before going back to what he was doing before. That made me meanwhile continued looking at the heaven, holding the half demon to slightly proud. I said I'm fine. Heaven, please, and we counted in gentle, soft tone. You're my friend, and I couldn't consider myself your leader if I couldn't see that something is bothering you. What's wrong? Remember, it was my fault last time, and I have to punish myself for it. Eva sighed and looked down. Just for the record, you psychoanalyzing everything and refusing to take things as face value really gets annoying at times. Yeah, there are people who actually hate when you try to tell them what they should do and shouldn't do. Actually, there's a lot of people like that. Even if you are just trying to help. It's a gift, that we know, and they even couldn't tell about smirk from one. That made smile at her expression before allowing her a chance to speak. The dog posed as soon. But though the sounds were of a dog and Pacific, and the meeting of machinery, before finally being broken by everyone. It's the city, he explained. It's kind of wave. It's causing people to feel a lot more negativity than normal, but it's hard to concentrate. It feels like a person headache that could turn into migraine. Ah, so what I usually feel during weather floods. Well, and useful as it is, sometimes I really hate being in that part. Yeah, so I literally have this, but I'm not an empath. So I have all the negative sides without the positive one.
There are people with empathic abilities, and they could probably relate to that stress.
Yeah. Do you need to take a few days? Am I should run? No, I'll be fine after a few hours of meditation. You sure? If you want, you can join my gun with tomorrow. I'm sure that they would be happy to have you, No, I said I need meditation. No, that's for them. I'm not going to include that. He proposed I shouldn't do a bit more. But he stay right back and forth exactly. The pin, he had begun to pick up the meaning of a tale. And everyone's mind rubbing at the side. If that's what you want, Irving finally responded before placing his hand on the shoulder once again. Just know we are here if you want to talk. He was looked back at her leader and nodded. I know. You have told me that like 1,000 times. And he definitely did. I think that either of them were going to say, okay, no, the mismo begins to call, announcing that he has found the plan. Immediately, the other two heroes raced towards him, but they even paused for a moment, when she found something sagging at her from behind. She looked across the row of shopping containers. See objects that were most peculiar. He was making out other details, but they almost looked like closed figures. What the? He wondered before Lightning shouted at her. Get up. He was looked back towards her, leader, to respond. Then looked back to where the first figures were standing there. They were gone, yeah. And he was armed grew slightly. He forced herself to shake those away, and flew back towards her friends. Now, the question is, do they have some abilities? Or were they neighbors? Definitely going to meditate after this, he reasoned. Pretty soon, we don't begin to get influenced by reports of courtesy by the harbor. He had managed to isolate a unique transponder, used by Manmon, taking him to the far end of the shipyard. Starfire and Miguel were all chasing him towards him, as was her staff and Nightwing, and they followed Me's boy. Pretty soon, they came across Manmon, and he jumped aboard his craft, and the hasty transport Me's boy was how much better control, as what the struggler had chosen. Seriously? A yellow submarine? We are living in a yellow submarine. Dude, can you not get any more stereotypical? No, that's my personality.
Was that song made by a British group?
Yeah, it is by the Beatles.
That's probably why he chose that model. Because it's very indicative of his style.
What I can,
You know, if that submarine originally was red, he might go out of his way to paint it yellow. Just because of that song.
I mean, just, compare the two images. Wait, let me open it up. And we can definitely say that these are very much close to each other. So this is Mad Mod. And this is Austin Powers. The same hairstyle, the same glasses.
Very similar face, actually.
I'm pretty sure it was
Randy, baby.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was literally made on the image of him. He just said, and the east side looking man was holding his back as face away. Don't you dare much blood the meters! He had as he pointed at his skin and the heroes. At once, the light missile pointed and pointed at them before firing a barrage. The hero scattered. He was crossing on the wall and Starfire fired starboard into the missile, destroying money alongside Megan. who was somehow slowed down, and grabbed one of them and hurled it with a spin into the ocean, where it exploded harmlessly. Cyborg gathered on the wall of shipping containers and fired his flying cannon at the missile pod, aiming to disable it. Manbo stopped and pressed another button on his cane, holding a minigun to deploy out of the top of his submersible and began firing at Cyborg. A few rounds ricocheted off his metal frame harmlessly, but he still low behind his cover. Miss Moira beside him. He is very technologically advanced, it seems. Also kind of reminds me of another villain in the Rumi universe. Which was actually one of my favorite villains. But he was not that message. And also I'm the king.
I would not be surprised if he was based on the character from Clockwork Orange.
For me, yes. Guys, we can use the map over here. The version that access to a sport shot and the minigun. Only for the barrage to force him back into cover. Beyond, hitting his car through towards the weapon, so he can have intangible and allowing the bullets to phase through her obviously, as she approached the gremlin. When the vampire is still firing, he turns the body at the center of the yellow submarine, forcing Mad Ball to dive away, and the bullets pinged against the metal hull, before finally firing at the missile pod. The high caliber round soared through the boat's artillery, falling into a short circuit and die. Holding an automated aeronautics express that in its tracks, he aired the minigun off its engine and threw it into the bay, before staring the Mad Ball, now with a hard expression. Mad Ball, rather than appear sheepish, made Nasty himself up, as then at her. He moved to press the button on his cape, on his cane once again, only for a green torch to zoom down, and then the object from his hand. Surprised, he could only watch as the hole flew over and landed on Miss Marshall's shoulder, dumping the cane into her waiting hand. She smiled terrifiedly and suddenly nervous expression, especially once Raven destroyed the engine with a sword of purple money. And Starfire lifted the submarine out of the water, leveling it on the concrete with a loud crack. The rest of the Titans soon surrounded him, and the Kimura chuckled awkwardly. How's about me just pretend this is actually never happened, eh? For the old time's sake, your friend. But the Titans regarded him coldly, as shook their hands. When the police finally arrived, they only saw only dressed and balding middle-aged man that come to a lopsided yellow submarine, and many were left scratching their heads aside. I might have been wrong, he might not have illusionist. Yes. Let me see. No, he had the technology on his side and some source. Ah! He used hypnotic holographic projectors, so kind of. An illusion goes to the body's skin. No, I was right. Somehow he was not using them here. Mod! Why is he interested in playing them the image? From the officer asked. So long! You are not helping your case. By the time the heroes finished for the night and made it to the back to the Titan Tower, they were all truly exhausted. Hardly any of them had the strength to make it up to the stand, yet they persisted nonetheless. In the end, they went up to the main floor allowing them to walk into their homes and collapse onto the bed. Sleep came almost immediately, except for Raven, all except for Raven. The whole neighbor was to sing and suddenly for some time, before finally managing to doze off. Then, to the outside world, he noticed two pairs of relative eyes lying at her for me for months, through a melted mirror. It disappeared almost as soon as they arrived. So I assume that actual neighbors. And that was the latest chapter, the last chapter of Haunted Objective. There's chaos everywhere. And it seems it's not only the Blood Hunters, not only the Blood Brotherhood, but a lot of other minor villains as well.
Well, they egged Hocus Pocus guy.
Yeah.
Off, so you can assume they might have done something similar with the rest.
They either egged them or paid them.
I'm even thinking they were responsible for posting those pictures of the cheating thing.
Yeah, that didn't happen by the couple. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was a background in that universe as well. I'm thinking hackers other than Godoffic. Because Godoffic alone could have been able to do it, but he wouldn't do it.
Yeah. They're probably masterminding all of this, and you can see why.
Yeah. We know that Taylor is the target. But, on the other hand, let's mean if the neighbors come out, that Yang and others won't have to pull back their punches anymore. Because now they have to pull back, they are humans after all, and they can't kill.
Mumbo jumbo, that's what I meant to say earlier.
Yeah. So let me copy this in the meantime. Because that is gonna be the next time. Chapter 14, which is not gonna be tomorrow. Tomorrow we are doing the animation in Sonic, but not this one because absolute people coming.
Okay.
So this 14th chapter, I don't know when we're gonna do that because tomorrow I will learn when and how long they are saying, so.
Okay.
And they live in Ireland, so they actually understand what I think. Yeah. Unlike my mother when I was talking about Nick. I mean, Nightwing.
Thank you for the reading.
Thank you for being here. And yeah, so in what is it, like 12 hours? No, it's 13 hours, right? In 13 hours, we are gonna come back with Adventure in Paris. Which is gonna be, let's see, the 11th, right? 11th chapter.
It's called The Tribe.
I'm not sure if it's gonna be one parter or not, but we will see.
Well, it's a little longer than the last chapter. It was around 4,000.
Yeah, we will see because after that I will see in my voice.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.